Hello my friends, and welcome back to another Brotato Danger 5 random run, where we take a random character, random weapon, and try to beat Danger 5 with it. Hope you're all doing well. I just felt like playing a classic random run today, so let's see what we get and what we're doing. Okay, we've got the Entrepreneur, a very powerful character overall. Though there are some challenges because with the reduced damage modifiers, weapons that really want high damage scaling can be difficult for the Entrepreneur. But let's see what we got. We've got the Fist. Alright, so I guess we're making a business out of punching. I was trying to think of a reference to like a boxer who went into business, but couldn't think of one. I guess Mike Tyson, maybe. As you can see with the Entrepreneur, because you lose all of your money at the start of the wave, that does include the money that you normally start with in Brotato. So you normally start with 30 materials. With the Entrepreneur's money gets deleted when they enter the wave, so those 30 materials disappear. So we only have 28 to work with in the first shop. I'm going to roll a couple times looking for harvesting, because of course with the Entrepreneur, you get extra harvesting, so very important to get that going. And then we'll buy a Fist. Fist is a very cheap weapon from a relatively small weapon tag as well, so you're very likely to be able to buy a bunch of them, even though we're not working with much money here. So we're going to roll, and we actually were able to buy 3. We almost, if I'd found another one there, we'd have had as many weapons as some characters have with the full 60 materials to work with. Because it's a cheap weapon. This is a character that gets an item price discount. I'm going to kill the Gobbler here. There's not enough time in the wave to let it eat a bunch of materials and try to have it increase the value of them. Here, I'll just take 10 luck. I obviously want more harvesting, but 10 luck is incredibly good to start with. Going to make higher level items show up much more frequently. We'll buy a Fist, and roll, and buy another Fist. Perfect. This wave, we should start making decent cash. The Entrepreneur is a character that really benefits from the fact that it's an economy character, but unlike most economy characters, it doesn't have reduced material drops from enemies. So we just get lots and lots of money, as long as you remember to actually spend your money. And I probably will accidentally miss out on spending money occasionally. Here, I'm just going to take the harvesting. Dodge would be nice as well, but getting early harvesting is so good on this character. With the increased harvesting modifiers, you just have to prioritize buying that. We'll buy the Broken Mouth and Propeller Hat. I'm going to ban Boiling Water, because we're never going to use that, and then we'll roll here. Baby Elephant is pretty nice, I think, with the Fist, because it's going to allow us to deal just more damage, and this character can just buy a lot of items. You don't have to be that picky with what you buy, because everything is cheaper, and you have a lot more money overall. So we'll buy the Baby Elephant, and then we'll roll, then we will lock another Fist, and we've spent all our cash. On the Entrepreneur, you always want to reroll to try to lock stuff, because that money's going away anyways, so anytime you have leftover materials at the end of a wave, make sure you're using them. One thing that I think Brotato does incredibly well in its designs in general is each of the characters has a lesson to teach you about the game. Entrepreneur teaches you not to save money, because you have to spend that money or you just lose it. And so it shows you how good it is to just use your money to gain incremental advantages. Here I'm going to reroll and reroll again. I could take 2 melee damage. With the Entrepreneur, all of our damage modifiers are reduced by 50%, so I do need to start buying melee damage early. Fist is a pretty low damage weapon, so I need to fix that, but I really want to get another harvesting upgrade before I start worrying too much about that. We'll buy a Fist here, we'll buy the Jerky for sure, and then we'll roll. And I'm not going to buy Tyler. I could ban it. I will probably just buy the Ugly Tooth here. So normally I would think about just banning this item, but because we're the Entrepreneur, it's very cheap, and I think it's worth spending 29 to basically buy an extra ban. So we're going to buy the Ugly Tooth here because it's a unique, so it's now no longer in the shop pool. So we basically spent 30 materials on a ban. The Ugly Tooth isn't an item we particularly want, so most of the time you should just ban these unique items. Don't worry about that, but for the Entrepreneur specifically, slightly different. I'm thinking about whether to ban out the Tyler here. I don't know that we're that likely to roll into too many level 3 items, and there aren't that many that we specifically want. So I think I will save my bans for level 1 items where they're going to be more impactful, because they will increase the quality of the item pool for the items that matter the most, early game items. That may change later on, of course, and if we end up rolling another Tyler, then obviously we'll be sad, but overall I think the bans are going to be most impactful used on level 1 items. And generally I think that's a good rule of thumb, but the other rule of thumb is just use your bans early and often, so sometimes those come into conflict. So you can see we're struggling a little with enemy kills, but that doesn't matter as much, because a lot of our income's going to come from harvesting. I'll take 6 max HP here, and then I'm going to reroll. We'll buy 3 regeneration, because I need to get that positive. And then we will go ahead and buy out this whole shop, take our free reroll. I'll buy the fertilizer here first. And I think I'll just take Corrupted Shard, lock the Fist. That spends more of my money, which is important for the Entrepreneur, because that was 17 and this was 15. And either way, we're wasting some cash, so important to buy the more expensive item. Yeah, we'll lock both of these, and then I will re-roll. I could ban the coral, but again, I think we're going to try to mostly ban level 1 items. One nice thing about the reduced damage modifiers on the Entrepreneur is when you buy items like Peaceful Bee or Lucky Charm, they don't reduce your damage as much. So there are upsides. Obviously still mostly a downside, but does help when you find items that normally reduce your damage. You can see we're a little behind on killing enemies, but we have a ton of harvesting, so that'll make up the difference. We basically have the same amount of money as a normal character right now, though our economy will accelerate ahead of where a normal character would be pretty soon. But our items are cheaper, so the same amount of money goes much further. We'll definitely take the Cyber Ball here, and then I will roll, and I'm very tempted by 9 dodge. We have unarmed as our weapon set, so we start with 15 dodge. That makes dodge a very efficient way to buy defensive stats, but I think we want 1 more harvesting upgrade, and then I'm going to start focusing on damage, because I am reducing my damage a lot in this shop. Let's roll here. I will probably lock... I'm certainly locking these 2. I will buy the Alien Tongue, because that uses all my money, and I think I'm just going to ban out the Alien Worm. We're pretty good on max HP. It's an item that's relatively weak in general, and I just don't think we want it to show up. Now I have to take a damage upgrade with my next couple upgrades, so we're going to roll for melee damage probably, and a +6, which will become a +3 melee damage on the next shop, or on our level 10 level up as well. Because I have another minus damage item in the shop, so I'm going to need to fix my melee damage. I'm also not worrying about killing this walrus. It just has too much health because we're a little low damage right now. We've been focusing very heavily on getting our economy rolling, which is fine. That's what the Entrepreneur is for. But it means that we will need to address that hole in the build. Here, I am just going to take 9 max HP. That's a really good defensive option. I really want the armor, but we have to find some damage. If I don't get positive melee damage at some point soon, then we're going to be in a lot of trouble. So I just have to roll for damage there, especially because I am indeed buying the Schmoop here. The acid, I think we don't want. I'm going to not reduce my dodge. And since I'm not buying it, I think we've reached the point where our luck is high enough that we don't need to focus exclusively on banning level 1 items, because we'll just see other items a lot. So I'm going to just go ahead and ban that. We'll buy the Spyglass, really good for rerolling. This character wants to reroll a lot. And we'll lock Hedgehog. I do just need more damage, even relatively inefficient damage like that. Block the Goat Skull. So this is an interesting shop. Decomposing Flesh and Butterfly could let me get a pretty reasonable amount of lifesteal if I bought them. And Fist is a pretty fast attacking weapon, although we don't have any attack speed, but it's a reasonably fast attacking weapon. And so you can actually use lifesteal pretty well with the Fist. I think I am going to lock both of these items, and we're going to add some lifesteal into our build as well. Normally, lifesteal isn't what I'm most excited by on a melee character like this, but we're going to be low damage, so we're going to be surrounded by enemies a lot. So having some lifesteal to make sure we can run into groups of enemies alongside our high consumable healing and regeneration, dodge, and armor, etc. I think we'll just make the character play out a little smoother. I think Fist is a funny weapon because it's really good. It's always like the second best weapon for any character who has it available. It's not the best weapon for most characters, but it's such just a solid weapon overall that you can never go wrong picking it. Here I'm going to just take 6 dodge. I could take 4% damage as well, but the dodge I think is going to be more important. And then let's buy some stats here. We'll roll Cyclops Worm. That's got to be good. We'll take that, getting a little bit more % damage. And now my melee damage is technically positive, and we have some % damage as well. We're going to ban out the Toxic Sludge. I'm going to lock the Weird Ghost. I think we will have the regen to support that, and we'll lock Spicy Sauce as well. Throw in a reroll, of course, and then really nice to find these items. Increasing the level of our weapons, really important, and getting some more melee damage matters a ton. It's been a funny run because I've found a lot of items that reduce my damage, so we've spent a little time pushing against that, but that is not a problem. And again, with the Entrepreneur, even if you're making the same amount of money as a normal character would be, you're just buying a lot more because your items price is reduced. Try to kill the loot alien here. Then we'll run back through and kill the rest of the wave. Get that tree kill as well. With 50 luck, we should drop a lot of crates as well at this point in the game. Because I have Jerky, so our healing is really good when I pick up a consumable, I can run into the middle of these groups of enemies and pretty reliably heal through them. So now you can see we're starting to really make money. We'll take the cake here for sure. Chameleon, I'm going to pick this up. Minus 2% dodge for +3, or minus 2% damage for +3 dodge, I think is worth it when we have 29 dodge. And although this is an expensive item, I think it's still right to get that, because getting to dodge cap is going to be our best way of improving our character's effectiveness at this point. I'll take the attack speed as well. With no attack speed, I have to prioritize that pretty heavily. And then we're going to buy out this whole shop, take our free reroll, we'll buy a coupon to reduce our item prices even further, buy a recycling machine. I'm just going to ban the coral here, and then we'll reroll again. And really nice to get a coupon again with a character that has reduced item prices. Coupon is even more efficient than normal because the proportion of the remaining item price that you're reducing is higher because it stacks linearly. So you're getting the same material value in discount, but it will enable you to buy more items than it would on a character that had normal item prices. I can just buy both the Lumberjack shirt and the Warrior helmet, so let's just do that. I do need to fix my move speed before we fight the Elite, though, and this wave could be a little bit tricky as well, because I do have the Weird Ghost and no move speed, so could be in a little danger. I was expecting to get at least one consumable drop from that group of enemies as well, which would have made us a lot safer here, of course. So the fact that we didn't is a little unlucky, and okay, we finally got one. So that plus that tree spawning means that we should be in good shape for the rest of the wave. But it was a little spooky having 1 health and getting no heals up for the first like half of that wave. And even still, although I found some healing, we're still in a little bit of danger because we were just at lower health as a result of that. But now I've gotten enough fruits dropping that we can really start farming here. So we're going to run into the middle, try to clear as many of the remaining enemies as possible. And yeah, we'll definitely take the whetstone. We are starting to build lifesteal, so that's really good. And then we'll pick up some armor. Glass cannon. 12% damage, so we buy damage at half value, so 12.5% damage is pretty bad for -3 armor. On the other hand, when your percent damage is low like this, even small increases are more impactful. I think I am going to sacrifice 4 armor this wave, which is kind of a wild thing to think about, but I do want to build dodge, and I need as much damage as I can get, so I think that's just how we have to play it. We're going to go ahead and buy another fist here. We'll buy a leather vest. Sunglasses we can skip on. I've reduced my armor quite a bit, although the leather vest did help with that. And crit chance is just not useful for fists very much because they have 1.5x damage. Crit chance is pretty good for the entrepreneur typically because it's a way you can multiply your damage that isn't a damage modifier. So buying crit chance and attack speed are typically how you want to increase your damage output on this character. But when we're using a weapon with only 1.5x modifiers, the math on that changes, of course. Definitely buy all of these items, and we've got some really nice upgrades on our weapons at this point. We'll roll again, we'll buy a coupon, lock a bat, because once you're building lifesteal, you want to build more lifesteal, so it's just more reliable overall. Even though it will cost us more harvesting than it would for a normal character. So now our damage is pretty solid. I need to fix my movement speed. I might roll for a 9 move speed upgrade here. And of course we could use more healing still. More healing, more armor. But at least we're clearing the enemies reasonably well. We might have the damage to kill the elite. It's going to be tough because our attack speed is really bad, so it depends on what items we drop from these crates. With 40% dodge, though, we should be in, and pretty good healing overall, we should probably be able to fight the elite next wave if I get even a reasonable, even a little bit of extra damage or a good attack speed level up. So let's see what we get, and we'll plan accordingly. All right, we'll take one damage here, and we have high dodge, so we should get a lot of value from that. The blood donation, this is pretty risky. We're going into an elite wave. We have only 7 regeneration, so we will be losing health over time with the blood donation. So it's pretty dangerous. I think I'm still taking it, because harvesting is so good on this character, but I wouldn't fault you for skipping it there. Take the propeller hat, and then, yeah, I just have to take the 9 speed. We just need positive move speed to fight the elite. We'll buy these 2 items. We'll do a reroll. Okay, cost me armor, but the jetpack is a great upgrade. Kind of wishing that I'd rolled not for a move speed up here, but jetpack is awesome, getting us to 56 dodge, getting our move speed really high. Just a great item for us. We'll take the bean teacher as well, and I think the ritual will help. Oh, I can just buy both. My weapons are just so cheap. We can just buy both of them. Lock saltwater, that's going to be good. Of these, I'm just going to ban out the statue, though I'm not going to buy alloy either, but statue just makes me sad to look at, so I'm just going to get it out of the pool. Then we'll roll down to 0 and lock a fist. And we will be having some difficulty with our damage, with our healing from the blood donation. So we'll try to fight the elite. If it gets too spooky, I'll just run away from it. I'm going to run off here and get some consumable drops if possible. All right, I took too many hits here, and with the blood donation, we're just not going to fight the elite any further. This is a tough elite to fight as a melee character as well, and with no natural healing, thanks to the blood donation, it's just going to be too difficult. So we're just going to focus on not fighting it. I also got very unlucky with dodges in the early part of the wave here, where I walked into 4 attacks with 50% dodge, all 4 hit. These things will happen, but when it does happen, you have to play as though that is what occurred. Gonna try to get the loot alien kills here. They're not dying. Okay, we got both of them. So made it out of that wave just fine. We got a couple crates. Just slightly bad movement, a little bit of bad luck, and the fact that we had relatively low damage made that elite hard to fight. But we were able to greed out with the blood donation, so I'm still happy we did that. We'll take the barnacle here. Sure, I'll take the baby gecko. Extra range isn't horrible on this character, because Fist is a very short-ranged weapon. Let's roll here. I feel like we can do better. Gonna roll again. I could take 12 dodge. That would get me to dodge cap, but I think I'm just gonna take 20 luck. We can get to dodge cap more easily just with an item. Like if we find 1 peaceful bee or something, then that'll be good. And armor is super important for this character, so I'm happy to grab that. We'll pick up all these items. I'll take the wheelbarrow just for maximum greed. It gets me a free reroll, and harvesting is obviously great for this character. Buy all of these items again. Alien tongue and fist, though obviously not the white flag. Dangerous bunny, more free rerolls, great. And then now we're really getting into it with the entrepreneur, where we can just buy everything. Also, we're gonna get the full 5 coupons, which will reduce item prices to 50%, which is wild. So once I get just a little more regeneration, then we'll be in great shape for fighting elites and stuff later on. Just need some attack speed, some regeneration. We are getting constant lifesteal every time I level up, of course. So my lifesteal is pretty good, but it's hard to rely on lifesteal alone for fighting elites with melee weapons. They often have a lot of attacks that are directly near them. And so, of course, the lifesteal is not as reliable, because if you are up next to the elite, you're taking damage. Yeah, we'll take 5 regeneration. I think I actually want that more than 5 lifesteal, even though it's a lower level upgrade, because regen, again, exists passively, so that's what we want. We'll take 5 melee damage as well, or rather 2.5 melee damage. Buy the coupon. I'm gonna buy this entire shop here. We have a horde wave, so the extra XP gain is gonna be awesome. And we have a little ways to go before we need to be strong enough to fight an elite, because we have a horde. So here's what I'm talking about. We were able to just buy the blindfold here in order to cap out our dodge and get some crit chance, which is still fine for this character, even if it's not preferred for fists. We'll roll. I guess I'll take another bean teacher. Do I want so that's 160, yeah, so we're just short of being able to buy both of these items, because together they're 174. Which one do I think is better? Do I think the bean teacher is better, or the candy bag? I think I'm going to take the candy bag. 8 stats could be really good if a couple of them go on armor or something like that. We already have really high XP gain. Although, I mean, we're going into an elite wave, so the XP gain is really valuable as well, or a horde wave. So I think we'll wait. I also don't want to hit the 10% chance of spawning an elite on the horde wave, because that could be really dangerous. So I think we're gonna wait on the candy bag for one more round, and we'll get the value from the bean teacher. Should get us a lot of stats from leveling up. Basically, if that gets us 1 extra level, then that's usually going to be more stats in relevant areas than we would get from 8 stats at random. Because those 8 stats at random can be really good if you get, like, a bunch of armor, you know, movement speed, whatever. Just powerful stats that are expensive to buy, then obviously that's amazing. But you could also just get 8 range, you could get elemental damage that doesn't do anything, so I think it's better off, we're better off being able to pick the stats that we're going to get. So here you can see we're strong enough to just charge into the middle of the enemies. We don't quite have the damage to finish them off while we're doing that, but we are able to survive very well, which is really good, and we can farm as a result. So we got 700 materials, 3 levels out of that as well. I'll take 2 melee damage here, even at the cost of some harvesting. We actually have spicy sauce, which I think is a fairly significant contributor to our damage right now. So maybe the explosion damage is good. Okay, we've only dealt 5k with it, and I've got 60 HP. I think it is worth taking the dynamite anyways, though. I'll take 8 melee damage here, that's really important, and 20 attack speed, and then 2 more armor, so those levels were awesome for us. Take the candy bag. I'm gonna buy the celery tea just for fun. Obviously, we have way too much XP gain for this to be particularly impactful, but it is kind of fun just to see what level you can get to. And claw tree, I think we'll pass on. Little frog we'll pass on. Let's roll again. We'll take a fist. We'll roll again. I'll buy whistle and tractor. Why not? Keep on rolling. Leather vest. Amazing. Really glad to find items like that give us way more defensive capabilities. Buy cute monkey and small fish and roll. And I'll buy a baby elephant and roll. I'm just going to take all of the XP gain items just for fun. And then we'll buy the tentacle as well. We've actually got some crit chance, so that could be some reasonable healing. Take the cyber ball. I do want a little more range, but wings, do I need 10 more movement speed? Yeah, it's probably worth 100. The 10 move speed is pretty good. So there we got 2 regeneration. I didn't see what else we got, but getting 2 regen off of the candy bag is pretty nice. Enemies this wave have double health, so this is going to be a rough wave for us, but we have a lot of harvesting, which will just give us a lot of materials anyways. Alright, we're going to spend the entire wave chasing around this loot alien. Oh no, alright, it died. Our damage is a little better than I thought it would be, honestly, against the double health enemies. But we've actually managed to build up a decent amount of damage at this point. Get the blobfish kill and pick up the curse there. We've done a lot of dodging. I kind of wonder what our riposte is looking like. I'll take the diploma here as well. Extra XP gain is kind of the theme of this run. And then, do I want the crit chance, or do I just want to roll for a more relevant stat? I think 9 crit chance is still good enough. And then we'll roll here, and we'll take 8% damage as well. Our percent damage was awful, so fixing that is going to be super helpful. Buy all of these items, and I actually have a lot of engineering now. I could consider doing an engineering sub-theme if we find a little more. I'll take the Sunken Bell. This is a good way to get out of a sticky situation with this character, and then we'll buy another fist, buy a fertilizer. I'm going to start buying claw trees, actually. It's only half a melee damage, but crit chance is fine. When our base damage is this high, every time we crit, it's worth 50 extra damage. So basically, when we buy 1% crit chance, it's like buying half a damage for our weapons. Here, I'm going to pick up the fist, and am I gonna increase my move speed even more with the fin, going up to 41 move speed? That's a lot of move speed. I think I will, though. That's kind of fun. Then we'll roll again. We'll buy another fist. Blindfold here. Crit chance is still good, but I think we're gonna pass on the blindfold because the dodge is no longer relevant. We're way over dodge cap. And then I will take the tentacle. I'll take the glass cannon. Our percent damage is awful, so I guess I'm just going to buy these 3 items. I'm going to pass on the wheelbarrow because although it is tempting to buy ton of extra harvesting. We are going into an elite wave, so I don't want to reduce my armor too much. Yeah, this is an interesting weapon for the entrepreneur because it's a very powerful weapon, just a very strong weapon overall. But not being able to build crit chance as effectively does remove one of the ways that this character normally scales. Usually, of course, you're gonna try to buy crit chance and attack speed in order to boost your damage, because those are not reduced by the percent damage modifiers, or by the damage modifiers that this character has. I'm gonna try to kill this mini-boss alien there, and then we'll do a sweep of the left-hand side and try to pick up some curse alien kills as well. Yeah, we'll take the Lost Duck, and then here I'm going to take 27 attack speed. That doubles my attack speed, which is awesome. Let's pick up some more regeneration, and then I'm going to reroll here and reroll again, and yeah, 8% more damage. That's great. That should really help us kill the elite. I'm curious how much damage our riposte has done. We've done only 2,700 damage. It's 81 damage retaliation, but a lot of the time when we dodge an enemy attack, we have killed them probably before the riposte damage goes off. Let's buy all those. I don't need the jetpack anymore. Fertilizer we're going to pass on as well. So we're going to roll here. Bag is still worth taking even this late. Let's pass on all of these items. And beanie. I've got plenty of move speed, so let's roll again. I'll take a medal. This is exactly the type of thing that we want. And we'll roll again. Alien tongues. I've been buying these just because this character is pretty reliant on consumable healing, so the extra pickup radius is very helpful. Buy a lure and a cute monkey, and we'll roll. We'll buy a mouse, and I'll lock a bone dice as well. So there you can see we got some armor from the candy bag, so that's just awesome when that happens. Armor is the most valuable and most expensive stat in the game, so... So we should have plenty of damage to kill the elite here, because I've got great defensive stats, so I can fight it very easily. Even this elite that's pretty tough to face with a melee character, we should be able to take out without too much difficulty. I did take an extra hit there, but the sunken bell went off, which is nice. I actually sort of lost track of the elite, even though I was standing directly on top of it. I thought I had killed it a quarter second before I had, so I stood still. It hit me again for, 30 damage or whatever it attacks for, and then the sunken bell went off, and then we killed it. And I was sitting there going, oh, it was still alive, huh? Sure, I'll take a baby gecko here. Obviously, we don't want to reduce my regen by 88, so let's go ahead and recycle the Estes couch. Dynamite, yeah, I'll take it again, just when it shows up in a box like that. And the weird ghost, I don't really need the HP, so I'm just going to recycle that. We have a blood donation, so although we could buy it, it would be fairly dangerous. I'm going to recycle the medical turret, and then we will roll here. Let's take 12 more HP, because my max HP was a little low, and then we'll take 20 attack speed. I'm going to buy the Power Fist. It's basically a fist. It's the identical weapon, but just slightly powered up. And at this point, I think you can see that we are going to win this run. So let's have fun with a weapon you don't get to see that often. We'll roll here. We'll take a banner and a leather vest and roll again. Take a metal plate and alien tongue and roll again. We'll take a dangerous bunny, cursed, which is awesome. And then, yeah, we're just going to buy this whole shop. So here you can see where the entrepreneur really starts to shine, is you just get to buy everything in every shop. Peaceful Bee we don't need, we're over dodge cap. I will definitely take the power generator, but do I want the hunting trophy first? Yeah, let's get maximum greedy. We'll take the hunting trophy, we'll lock power generator, we'll re-roll, and then we will lock all these items as well. So it's gonna be fun to compare the the power fist damage to the rest of our fists, because it's not going to be significantly higher. The explosion size on the power fist is so small that it's mostly irrelevant, even though we have increased explosion size. So mostly it's just a fist that has slightly higher base damage. Here, I'll take 12% crit chance. I think that's pretty good. We'll take 16% damage. Let's check our power fist damage. So 4,800, and yeah, you can see that these fists actually did more damage, because they just have higher base damage. So the explosion damage just doesn't matter that much for this weapon. Compared to the level 2 fists, it actually was on track with the level 3 fist. Level 3 fist outperformed it, because it attacks at the same rate. Yeah, it's all the same stats. So it's just the all the same stats, but higher base damage on the power fist. So the reason that the level 3 fist outperformed it was just it happened to be in a better position for the direction that we were approaching enemies from, presumably. Really nice there. That fixes our percent damage. Now we're up to 100%. We'll buy all these. We'll roll. Take another spicy sauce. I'll take another whetstone, and now my lifesteal is really high. Let's go ahead and buy all these items as well. Sure, I'll level the fists here, and we'll buy all these items also. The blood leech, honestly, we could skip the blood leech. It's just not that fun an item, and at this point we're mostly having fun. Wisdom will be good for killing the bosses a little faster. Penguin will be nice as well. Grind's magical leaf, obviously, we don't want going into wave 20. And then here, I'm going to lock the nail. It does cost me. We could re-roll again, but this is a bunch of good items. And nail is good because it's +3 damage that doesn't suffer from our reduced damage scaling, because we get normal amounts of engineering. So that'll get us 17 engineering, which will give all of our weapons an extra 6 damage. No, 3 damage. The fact that it's only 20% scaling on the nail is why usually you shouldn't buy engineering after buying nail. You use it as a small boost to the damage of your weapons currently that sometimes increases if you happen to randomly pick up engineering buying items that you want, like duct tape. Like, for most builds are going to end up with 5 to 10 engineering just kind of randomly, because there's a lot of items that have some incidental engineering stapled to them that you would buy even if they didn't have any engineering at all. But it's not right to buy items like cog and things like that to try to boost your damage off of the nail, because you're basically buying less than 1 melee damage when you do that. Yeah, we'll take some more crit chance and some more crit chance, I guess. That's fine. And I think the thing that matters the most is just going to be armor. So I'll take armor, I'll take a regen. I will reroll here and reroll again. I'm looking for something that'll help, but I'll take 81 range. When it shows up in that high an amount, that's actually 40 extra range units on our weapons, because range works at half value on melee weapons. And that's actually pretty relevant. So we'll take the big range upgrade. That'll make the bosses just a little easier to stay on top of, or not directly on top of. We'll take the leather vest here. Bag, of course, doesn't do anything going into endless, or going into the wave 20 mode. Cursed leather vest is still awesome. More armor is amazing. Will-O-Wisp, we don't have any burning effects. Let's buy Pocket Factory just for fun, and then we'll buy these items and roll. A Cursed Fist, that's a nice find. That's going to be a lot of extra damage. I'll take 3.5 damage on the injection as well. Can't be the king of Brotato with no crown, so let's go ahead and buy that, and then we'll keep on rolling a little bit. Fishhook would have been a nice one as well. We'll take a corrupted shard, and I've got lots of attack speed, so I'll take the missile as well, and then we'll do some more rerolls. Finally got some cursed items at the end. We didn't find that many cursed items throughout this run, but at the end of the run, the cursed items started showing up, just to taunt me. And let's see how quickly we kill the elites. Should be pretty quickly. We've bought a lot of damage. We have high crit chance and good attack speed and everything, so we should be able to take out these bosses pretty fast. There's the first one. And again, we will just try to stick to it. I'm not going to worry about taking hits from it because our defensive stats are so great, and we can just take it right on out. Let's take a look at our weapons here, firstly. So Power Fist dealt 10k, which is, yeah, just a little less than the level 4 fists. So you can see that this weapon is just not significantly different from a normal fist. Even with some explosion damage boosts from dynamite, and we had the explosion size boost as well, I think. It's just not going to come up that often. Looking at our items here, Baby Elephants dealt 42k, Cyberballs dealt 42k. Spyglasses obviously worked very well for this character because you reroll a ton. Coupon saved us 2700. Recycling Machine was worth 185. What else? Barnacle gave us 18 levels worth of stats because we hit level 35 at the end of the run. And then the candy bag was really great. I've actually never seen the candy bag spawn an extra elite. So I don't know if that function is working, but it sure is giving you random stats, and those are just really nice. And then Celery Tea, a bunch of extra XP. Wow, this treasure map was awful. We got it not like early, but not that late, and I guess we just never got enough crates for treasure map to really go off. Bag for 135. Yeah, so we at least got, how many crates is that? Oh no, streamer math. 7 crates. So the treasure map gave us one out of 7 on a 20% chance. Not the worst, but not great. And there were probably crates in between the treasure map and the bag as well. Wow, our bone dice were horrible as well. 12 for 5. Usually this should be at a 5-to-1 ratio. So if we lost 5 HP, you should usually have gotten 25 damage from the bone dice. So some of our RNG based items vastly underperforming this run. That's pretty funny. 94 materials on hunting trophy, and yeah, nothing else really of note. All right, my friends, hope you enjoyed that run, and of course, if you have, feel free to leave a comment and hit like. Helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, my friends. I'll catch you next time.